What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Wrenching Wrecked. We got this all kind of solidified, so most of this video will be a time lapse. We are going to blast this apart one more time. Wheel can stay on this time at least, but rip the fender off, and I'm just gonna be welding. So turn the camera on, I'll see how much actually makes the cut, but weld up the bungs on the Sissy bar, or the tabs on the Sissy bar, weld the bungs to the fender, and that's pretty much it. Fixed the wheels on Dottie's car because they were a little shaky. We got one bent wheel. So when we put the winter tires on, that went to the front, so it was a little shaky. Got that rotated and fixed for now. So let's blast this thing apart. Enjoy the tunes. We're getting ready to weld all this up, and it's still gonna be a time lapse, but got everything dismounted, set up over here on a wood bench. I don't have a metal welding bench over here. My other option is to run this all the way over there, but I don't have the right plug hooked up on the welder, so we're going to rig up a bunch of stuff, and that'll work for taking a pass here, pass on the backside, pass here, pass on the backside. So take this, we'll run the ground straight to this on top of a wood bench. Same thing on the fender, at least they kind of lay out a little bit better. Not ideal. I wish I had a welding table over here. Normally I do use the one over there for that, but work with what you got. And I'm not going out and buying or making anything new. And honestly, people are out of their minds with prices on things these days. So make do with what we got. We got a ground clipped directly to both of these, or we will, and go from there. Cue the time lapse. Sissy bar's all welded up. That worked fantastic. I miss working with stainless. I like working with stainless. It's really what I cut my teeth on when I was learning to TIG weld. But all those little plastic bung bits that I didn't move from the bench, that was dumb. So now I got a good amount of melted plastic on there, but welds are in. This is really awkward holding a Sissy bar this high. Happy with that. Wrapped all the way around, top corner and bottom corner. I think there's better ways to do that. This is not a welding channel by any means. Do the passes, but I think there's better ways to get that to wrap. Maybe I should start on the outside edge and wrap it. I don't know. I get better at that as I progress. I gotta go back to regular steel. So we're actually gonna give this a quick little scrape with a wire brush, or a wipe with the wire brush, I guess. Let me figure out where all my stuff is. Clean these up, and then we'll start burning these in. These ones I will be a little bit more finicky with. On the stainless, it's such a tight, stainless melts quicker. This is not a welder saying this is me saying this, but doing steel versus stainless. When I weld stainless, I usually try and go way faster. Lower amperage, I'm running 90 amps on the TIG right now with a foot pedal control. But on stainless, typically, it takes substantially less heat to get a puddle going, and then you just run with it. Steel takes a little more heat or a little bit slower, in my experience. If you're a professional welder and want to correct me and tell me all the things I'm doing wrong, please do. But I'm just going based off of what I have done over the last handful of years. Anyways, let me find a brush, scrub this down. Back to the time lapse.
Yeah, they call me the juggler, 'cause I always have three lovers, and I burn through Trojan rubbers like no other. But when I'm not between the sheets, I'm busy staying undercover. Ain't as sweet as it seems being the juggler. Yeah, 'cause Edith likes eating at East of Eden, where Wendy works on Wednesday evenings, and Donna Lee does her laundry 2 doors down. So when I'm out to eat with Edith, I'm always worried Wendy's watching, and equally that Donna Lee's gonna be around. And what's worse is Wendy lives by the Wally World, where Donna Lee goes to the pharmacy, and Edith's ex-old man's employed there. So I choose to keep a low profile and sneak around like it's going out of style, and try to keep these balls up in the air. Yeah, they call me the juggler, 'cause I always have 3 lovers. Sometimes I wish I had me a twin brother, because it takes a lot of steam making all that hubba hubba. Ain't as sweet as it seems being the juggler. Yeah, but I had 3 more the month before, Tanya, Tina, and Isadora, but that all ended in a puddle of tears and blood. I had Tanya down for 10 to noon, and Tina turned up around 1 or 2, and Izzy used me all night like a stud. But one day Tanya showed up a little late, and Tina turned up a lot early, so fists were flying till Izzy came that night. I'm pretty sure it's the doors when they threw me on the floor, while Tanya and Tina punched and kicked and swore, and long story short, I lost the fight. Yeah, they call me the juggler, 'cause I always have 3 lovers. They come and go, but there's always another. Yeah, I guess I can't be pleased by just one lady's comfort. Ain't as sweet as it seems being the juggler. Yeah, yeah, maybe someday I'll quit this fooling round and find someone to make me settle down, but I'd hate to be the one to make her suffer. 'Cause one of them days we'd go to town, and one of my friends would flag us down and say, "You know why everybody calls him the juggler?" And I'd have to explain that they call me the juggler, 'cause I always have 3 lovers, and I burn through Trojan rubber like no other. But when I'm not between the sheets, I'm busy staying undercover. Ain't as sweet as it seems being the juggler.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed the time lapse. Definitely not the best TIG job I've ever done, but those are buried under the seat. I'm confident in it being burnt in. It's just not the prettiest. These ones came out fine. Steel, for whatever reason, started popping on me, and then I had to add a little bit more heat, but I'm real happy on these TIG welds on the stainless. These came out good, just fine. If you really wanted to go crazy, you could polish these up, but this whole Sissy bar is getting repowder coated, so I don't want to go too nuts on that. But these have all been sitting, and they're cold enough where I can bolt this back up. The only thing I gotta do is burn in the rest of this bracket, but that's just MIG. I'll burn this in tomorrow and then get this kind of mocked up one more time, do one more final assembly on the rear before we get this stuff over to the coating shop for blasting and coating. We gotta sand out the tank a little bit more. That should be good to go. Tank and fender are going the same color. That's fine. Sissy bar is going gloss black again to match the Springer. And, you know, just kind of slowly chipping away. I don't remember if I mentioned that, but that shovelhead, I got an inner primary. I just got to go pick it up. One of my buddies had one, but he's about an hour or so one way, so it's going to be a 2-3 hour round trip dealio. It's just a matter of getting out there. The aluminum one is good, ready to go. I got a ton of the parts for that. I just got to go get the primary. I don't want to put it, I was going to put this back together and make it work. It's still winter. We have 3 months before any sort of riding season, maybe at best. I don't know. Could be 70 degrees tomorrow too. Well, not tomorrow. We have ice storms and winter weather advisories, but next week you never know. It's the Midwest. Could be 60 tomorrow or 60 in a week, 20 in ice tomorrow. 'Tis what it is, but I got enough time, and then we can kind of slow roll on that. That stock stuff goes back together much easier. It's just a matter of getting all the parts. This, the trial and error, the fabbing, the mocking up, every part that I get done gets me a little bit closer. Like we got to make the headlight mount. I still need to weld taillight mount. For those of you that are wondering, we're going to keep the cat eye light, but we're going to be welding a crossbar in here, stainless. So this is not ready for coating. The fender and tanks are. We'll pull the cat eye out of this, weld the stainless bracket in, and we'll do a plate mount and light in the Sissy bar. Obviously this is backwards right now, but it will sit something like that just on top of the seat. I was playing mock-up for 20 minutes, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with that. I don't want to do the axle mount. I don't like axle mounts. I think it makes more sense and more traditional to put the light just above the seat when we get this all back together. So all we got left, burn this in, make the mount for the taillight / license plate over there, and then bolt this up, make sure everything fits proper. Better, now that everything's burnt in. Maybe we'll do that real quick tonight. This I don't mind. If I put the fender back on to bolt it up, get the Sissy bar back on, that's fine. That's gotta come back off. This with a MIG is a quick little burn in. I'm not concerned on that one. So yeah, maybe we'll, let me throw that fender back on now that everything's cooled off. Take one more look at it before I start tearing it down and sending that off for coating. I say sending it off, but really I just bring it to my other shop. We'll be back when that's all put back together. that's probably gonna be about the end of this video. We'll see what happens in the edits. Might be a short one. We're closer, another day closer. So, bracket is in. Everything's good on here. Everything bolted back up proper, the way it should. So I need to leave this at least hooked up enough to get the tail light on here. So disregard the ugly bracket for like a kick-up fender. But with this on here, I was playing around with that stupid seat bracket thing the other day. We actually need to put a little spacer. I gotta do a standoff right there. That one I might actually end up making on the lathe. So I need a little like half-inch, roughly a half-inch, quarter 20 bung. So I actually do have a little bit more welding to do if we are gonna run this seat. I know it's not the coolest, best fitting thing in the world, but in terms of practicality, I would struggle to make a seat that wide for a passenger if I made one from scratch. We talked about doing the little spring seat here with the P-pad. His old lady does want to ride this, and it's one of those good, fun customers that doesn't have a cell phone or believe in text messaging, which is fantastic because I wish I could be on that level, but running the shop and the business, I've thought about it multiple times in my head, getting rid of the cell phone, getting rid of social media things in general, which I know is counterintuitive because I'm posting this on YouTube, but I love that idea. However, I need to be able to look things up, answer customer questions, stupid stuff like that. We get a lot of emails, but I can't send individual pictures to him, so he gives me rough ideas and general thoughts, and I just kind of run with what we want to do. With the seat on here, fender mounted, pretend the black bracket for the fender mount is gone. I thought a couple things. I thought about doing one kind of down low and tight back here, just kind of in the center underneath the seat. It'll cover up that seat bolt mount, which isn't really that big of a deal, but run the light and the plate right off the tail of the fender. But the whole point of getting the little flared kick-up fender was to have a little flared bit. The other option, which is, this is where my gut is telling me to go, do something kind of like that, where it's a little bit more traditional. I'm just kind of setting this where that bracket will land. Kind of down low. I'm not opposed to the cat eye. Get rid of the giant bracket. That'll sit nice right in between the Sissy bar down there. Weld that in, have the plate hang off the back. I know it's kind of, obviously this bracket's gross and ugly, so ignore that, but this is a decent amount. This is bigger than Dottie's chopper seat. Just that bit before you lean back into the Sissy bar. But I kind of like that view. The other option is go full on tough guy chopper and jam it way up top, which I wouldn't mind doing, but I don't think I would do that with a cat eye. I know it's a little crooked, but something like that. I don't love that one. So right now I'm really kind of stuck in between running something kicked up off the fender or just kind of nice traditional mid-mount. This is really hard with one hand, I'm not gonna lie. How did I have this sitting before? Oh, I went higher. Something kind of like that, but now I'm looking at this, I really want this about there. Do it nice and low, just off the seat. Sorry, I'm just banging things around. I think kind of something like that. It'll kind of keep the traditional look. You get your taillight on the Sissy bar, it'll be enough on the plate to cover, well, enough to have the plate hang off of there. In the past, I've welded fuel line and run things to run the wiring underneath the fender and make it all tucked in. I've had so many issues with that over, it's fine for a year or two, but after riding water, debris, salt, whatever it may be, I've had nothing but issues running wires tucked, completely buried, either through the seat, through the fender. Now, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. I'm not building show bikes, I'm building riders. I don't mind looping some wiring up the Sissy bar to the taillight as opposed to running it through here. If you short a wire or short anything on, honestly, I had one of my old Sportsters, I had the seats, the wiring run through a king queen seat that I made, and something shorted. It caught the seat on fire, like inside, not bad, but like the foam was melting. Now, I like quick, accessible, side of the road fix situations. Might not be the cleanest, but when you're in the middle of nowhere with next to no tools other than your tool roll and minimal supplies, much easier being able to yank out a taillight, swap a taillight bulb, hit a crimped wire or a pinched wire or a broken clip, whatever it is. We're not gonna be doing any of that detailed, real nice, tucked away bits, because I'm building it to be a rider. There's a good chance I will put a ton of miles on this before I give it back to him, just to make sure I can get everything squared away and solidified. I don't want to give somebody a bike that I don't trust going down the road. But this is kind of where we're at. So let me know what you think about the taillight in the comments. If you like it up high, down low off the fender. We also talked about doing the axle mount. Me personally, I hate the axle mounts. They're useless. If you're driving up to a two-lane road, driving down a two-lane road, I guess it would be a four-lane road, but a two-way, one-way road, somebody's on your right and you're getting on the brakes, you can't see the brake light when it's jammed over and tucked over on one side. Doesn't matter which side you put it on. I don't like that. Everybody's texting or watching YouTube videos while they're driving or whatever else it is. Have a brake light that works. Anyways, I'm rambling. That's it for now. We will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all those other fun things. I think next up will be the bung for the fender. That might get done off camera, and then we'll just kind of keep chipping away.